Today, even though I'm pissed off at you, I've only got 200 and something views on my fucking song. Fuckers. It's a good song. 4 dislikes. It's still my favourite song about going bald. And fixing it. It's yours too, because there aren't any others. So, oh well, sorry history, but even though it's only got fucking 200 and something views and 4 dislikes, it's still the best song ever written about going bald. So fuck you. There could have been others. Look how grey I'm going now. Okay. What am I going to do about that? So far, nothing. The thing is, I don't see anyone because we're under lockdown. Like, I keep thinking the whole world is under lockdown, but it's really just Melbourne, Australia. But as of today, we're allowed to be outdoors after 9 p.m, which is amazing. Which is good. I can go for a walk at night. But if people gather, it's a $5,000 fine per person. Today, I'm going to see if my hairpiece can simply be glued back down without removing the previous layer of glue. Now, I've done this before. Here's what happens. I've spoken to you before about cohesion and adhesion and so on. Cohesion is when the glue molecules stick to themselves, and adhesion is when it sticks to something other than itself, namely my head. Okay? Once a week, you've at least got to do the front hairline. In the case of lace, every time you come out of the shower, it bubbles up and it bloats the glue and you want to pick away at it, and then you have to peel it back and do it all again because it's fucking lace. That's probably every single day or every 2 days. With poly, it's about once a week. You've got to lift that up and do that bit there. But I don't like having to do it all the time. The reason it's more tedious than it needs to be is that I've got to peel all of this old glue off the hairpiece. Now, when I said I've done it before trying to reattach a used hairpiece, I'm pretty sure in that video I just sprayed some alcohol and just stuck it back down using the existing remaining deteriorated glue. I don't know what happens on a molecular level, but I would say the glue is deteriorated beyond its original usefulness, as in it's been weakened. Today, because Devlin Green is about 1/3 the thickness when you paint it onto the hairpiece or onto your head, because it's about 1/3 of the thickness of Ultra Hold, I think it would be less of a problem with its lack of cohesion with itself in the second layer, given that the first layer is covered in dead skin cells, sweat, and of course a full layer of old, disgusting, used and not working glue. It still has stickiness to it though, of course. It's not completely gone, but it's going to cause a layer differentiation between the nice new layer of glue and the disgusting old layer of glue, which will probably separate from itself. But it doesn't generally happen that way. What usually happens, even though there is a gap of disgustingness, there's a layer of disgustingness in between there and the new layer of glue. When I pull the whole thing off my head, one layer isn't going to stick to my head and the other layer stays to that. The entire lot is going to come off onto that, which means the cohesion is still strong enough. Which means that it doesn't matter if I put another layer of glue over the top of that, if it's going to stick to itself that well. So really, it shouldn't be a problem. It should be almost the same as putting on an entirely new layer of glue. It's not separating from the hairpiece itself. So why should I sit there for 15-20 minutes peeling this shit off and cleaning it with fucking peely bottle and all the other things, right? When all I have to do is just put a new layer of glue on my scalp or onto this hairpiece and just put this disgusting thing on top of my head again. And that's what I'm going to do today. Now, last time I put on a hairpiece, I applied glue onto the hairpiece first, so that the perimeter would line up nicely instead of there being a bit of overhang, which never gets enough glue on it, etc. And it's always got some overhang there that annoys me. However, I didn't like it. The effectiveness was good, but it was awkward to place it onto my head nicely. So I'm going to go back to my old way of doing it, which is glue the scalp, don't pre-glue the hairpiece. So first of all, I'm going to shave all of this stubble off so I've got better contact, and then I'll put some of this glue on, and then when I'm ready to place it, this video will continue. Since I'm making a video about shortcutting things, I'm going to take the brush out of this bottle. If I wanted to, I could just place it handle end down on the bench, but I guess I need it as a tool as well. We are going to make another shortcut now, and that is pouring the glue on the scalp. Rotate the end. Did you see how that broke off easily? It's a lot thinner than Walk Tape Ultra Hold. Some people talk about pouring all of the glue into some kind of bottle that has a tip on it, so you can make your own version of what they sell for the larger bottles of glue, where you squeeze the bottle and it just oozes out a layer as you need it. That sounds like a good idea too. In the end, I might end up doing that, but then the brush doesn't conveniently just go back in. You'd need to then manage brushes, which is, by the sounds of things, an extra step. Not less steps, more steps. Brush management and stuff like that. Obviously this brush is very small, so I only cover a small area at a time. But then when I do the small areas and medium-sized areas, it's useful to be this size. It's just in the beginning it's a bit tiny. So, but this little shortcut that I've decided to do is problematic, because I might pour it all the way down my face. But it does save time to pour that glue out. If you are a Walker Tape Ultra Hold glue user, which is what I was for years, you'll notice the difference in the way that there's no mozzarella from the pouring area to the bottle with Devlin Green. This is Devlin Green that I'm using now. This is a fairly thick layer of glue now, given that I poured quite a lot. So I am interested in how layers of glue, how the thickness of the glue layers influences the amount of hold that you get. But really, the hold issues are at the front hairline, especially here and here, not really here. And clearly that's a point where you would style your hair more. Here you're styling it as well, but it does have these two gigantic anchors on these two sides here. The other thing I've noticed, if your hair does come too low, so that it's actually over the top of the forehead. So if we make a line between there and there, that would be the scalp forehead line, because I don't think your forehead is your scalp. Like you wouldn't, even if you were completely bald, shaven bald, you would still say, that's my forehead where I can make lines in my forehead where I have expressions on my face. And back here where I have no muscular control at all, it's just a fucking floppy thing that I can't, dictate to it. Do this now. It just doesn't do anything. It's just the top of my skull with a bit of skin over the top of it. The forehead is ending there, right? I don't know exactly where the forehead ends in these points though. Some people would say, well, if you've got recessions, it goes up to where the hairline is, but you can't define it by the hairline. Like we've said, bald people have foreheads too. It's almost racist for you to think that they don't. You don't have a forehead, you just have a sort of a shiny skull. You can't say that to them. They'll kill you. They're probably in a bikie gang, especially if they're bald with a beard and a single earring and a parrot. Or maybe then they're not in a bikie gang, they're a pirate, okay? But so the forehead ends there, the scalp starts there. If you have a hairpiece down in the forehead zone, I think, and I haven't checked into this, that the pores are bigger and they ooze out more sweat than everything on the scalp. So what I'm saying is the forehead could then be defined as a high point of sweatiness on your body. Why do you think we have eyebrows? Is it just to keep the rain out? Or have we evolved did we evolve the big forehead pores that ooze out sweat and the eyebrows at the same time? Speaking of eyebrows, I need to do some maintenance on them. There are two ways to do this that I know about. Just getting glue off these scissors and then using a baby wipe. I saw a hair video the other day and the guy was using cotton buds, a ball of cotton. To me that sounds worse than useless. Pre-moistened, untearable. They're fucking perfect for the job of dealing with hair pieces. Not cotton buds. I'm talking about cotton balls, cotton wool. They're useless, man. I don't need to play with them to know that they are absolutely going to disintegrate and get into the glue and bits of hair and white bits left over the place. Why wouldn't you buy these? If you know that they're about the same price. Or if you're trying to save 20 cents, then you haven't got enough money to buy hair. Okay? Eyebrows. You take the outer edge of the eyebrow and you pull it inwards so that all the straggly bits are sticking upwards. Right? Don't fucking stab yourself in the eyeball. Okay? Don't cut too low, because you're going to brush it back down in the end anyway, right? So that in this way you can maintain some darkened depth in your eyebrow. You don't want a thinned out eyebrow. You look sick. It accentuates the bags under your eyes. I know I have massive bags. My whole family does. It's our Māori heritage. Now where are these eyebrows going? They're being blown by the winds away into my towel. So next time I dry myself, I'll have little pokey bits of hair all over my body, and I won't know why, because my memory's bad. What? So that was one way to do it. The other way would have been to put a 6mm guard onto a beard trimmer. 6mm is a good length for eyebrows, and just go straight over the top of all of it. When I do use that approach though, I feel like I've thinned them out a bit, and it's not because of the length. Well, it might be the length. I might need to do 8mm, and that wouldn't be a big problem. But yeah, you got those two methods: the scissors or the beard trimmer with a guard. Okay, so I've only just put this glue on; it's not dry yet. I still prefer this method than gluing directly onto the hairpiece. Why? because it's easier to place the hairpiece when this part of your head, when your head is the thing that's got glue on it rather than the hairpiece itself. And really that fan is going to have to be turned off if I want to show you this hairpiece anymore. Okay, now look, hairpieces have 2 reasons or 3 reasons why they need to eventually be thrown out. 1, their hairs fall out over time. 2, the glue comes around the edges just from melting from body heat and comes around over the top in such a way. With lace that happens constantly, right? But with poly it eventually happens. It comes around over the top onto the outer front edges that are showing to the world, and even back here. And it creates a dark line all the way around the perimeter of the hairpiece. I call this the perimeter too, just not to be confused. And 3, so that could be, potentially combed out with this and soap and water and all sort of stuff, right? But eventually you're like, I can't be fucked. I'll just open another box and do another hairpiece. And 3, you can stretch it or tear it, which doesn't really happen for me. I should take this opportunity then to say I don't really deal with full hairpieces. A lot of you think I should because I'm balding back here, right? And when I get embarrassed enough about that, I will probably have to start dealing with gluing the back of my head. Now, you saw this mirror that I built once that shows the top of my head when reflected into the mirror, but there's no real way for me to get proper visibility to the back of my head. Like if I wanted to glue there. Like, let me hold face you, right? There you can see all the receding hairs clearly in the camera there. That's looking pretty fucking bald there now. But I think it's still acceptable. So I guess in this way, you would get some kind of visibility to doing that. However, I think a preferred method, if you didn't have to worry about splashing your equipment with water and glue, is you would have a phone stand or a camera tripod here on the back of your head, right up as close as you want. You wirelessly or wiredly transmit to a screen. So I'm thinking iPhone and iPad. So they wirelessly, what is it called, AirPlay to each other. And if everything's backwards, I think you just flip a button on the program you're using. If your program doesn't do that, get an app that does do it. Flip it back so it's the right way around. So as you paint the back of your head, you've got, well, do like I do. You look, see how my phone is blue tacked to the mirror? That's how I've attached the phone. Blue tack. Right? I've blue tacked the phone to the mirror. You could do that with a bigger screen, so you can see the front of your head when you're applying the glue there, and then beside that, you get the camera feed, like a rear vision mirror, but nice and big. You could even pinch out and zoom in, right, with your fingers on a touch screen to zoom into certain spots so that you can get the maximum visibility when you're just doing everything facing this way. No need for this, right, which is not the ultimate, because the distance makes things smaller, but a camera can be right up there and you can zoom in as well. So that's how I would do the visibility on the glue. And obviously you want a 7-foot tripod with a gooseneck. So this is not a gooseneck. This is hard attachments that you have to rotate, and every single thing requires the push of a button or the rotation of a knob or something. But a gooseneck is just that hardened metal, that sort of malleable metal, and you can just bend and it stays, right? You just twist it and it stays, right? Like that. So do that from the floor. I've tried to build a ceiling mounted thing like that, it just was no good. That's all lightweight. You do that, you put it over there, you see the top of your head, you see the back of your head, everything's on the screen right there in front of you, and then your reflection is right here in front of you. That's how I would do it, and that's how I will do it if I decide to get a full hairpiece. And can someone please tell me the difference between a full cap and a full topper? Since I'm not in that world, I don't know what you're talking about. And is there another term as well to make it even more confusing? I know I used perimeter twice in two different ways before, so I'm sorry. I don't like ambiguity. There's no need for it. So when this is dry enough, I will take alcohol and a comb and get those little hairs out there, which are unavoidable because I had to paint the glue apply the glue in that area, and I had to go into the hairs to get to the very edges, which didn't need to happen when I did the perimeter of the hair by pre-gluing the hair, but I have to do it when I do my actual scalp at the perimeter. And I assume when I do all the way back to here, if I have to glue back here, I will have to do it there all the way in all of that, so I get maximum glue coverage. Having said that, I don't know what the benefits would be of tape in that instance. I do think, as I haven't watched a lot of videos or anything about full hair application to know how people are actually seeing the back of their own heads and stuff like that, I'm under the rumor mill kind of belief that people are just putting tape on the back half of their hair pieces, just go floop, see you later, right? And just guessing that it landed correctly. Or using a tiny little hand mirror afterwards, because you need two hands to do your hairpiece. Doing this with all one hand is a miserable existence, basically. You can't do it. You'd have to just dab one hand in all this stuff, right? It would be fucking hard. Whether you got a broken arm or you're missing a hand, either way, that's fucking hard. You'd want to pay someone else to do it. Or just go bald, because you've already got one hand, your life's fucked, right? So, this is something I just deal with. So just taping the back of this is not something I'm really interested in doing. I want solid hold all the way through. And that would not change if I had a full hairpiece. Unless it became a massive pain in the ass, because I will be having to use probably 3 times as much of everything. And everything's going to become more expensive, because I won't be able to get 2 hairpieces out of 1 hairpiece anymore, etc. So I wonder how many of you just have partials, and how many of you were a full hairpiece, and you've got a horseshoe amount of balding going on. And how many of you have the 2 recessions here and then a circle at the back, like me, and you were brave enough to shave all of that other shit away, which is just perfectly strong growing hair, but you don't want those, you don't want that, or that, and you had to just sacrifice all of that so that one hairpiece can do it all, to cover it all. And you think, look at me going, you're not brave, you should fucking do something about that bald spot on the back of your head. I could use Topic, like I've said before. I'll try one more time. But already I'm thinking this is going to be messy on my pillow. Is that better? See, without visibility, you can't know what you're doing. See, the distance from my eyes to the mirror is too far for me to get good visibility. For me to give you an expression of what that feels like for me looking at back of my head in the mirror, you're seeing it there, but I'm seeing it like this. Imagine doing your hair this far from the mirror. That's what it's like to look at your reflection. That's why I say use a camera that's right up near the back of your head or zoomed in enough. You can have a camera here if it's got a good enough lens and zoom in on the back of your head so you don't trip over it. But like I said, cheap camera solution would be phone, pity if it rings, but then you just touch it, dry finger, and then hello, speakerphone, blah blah blah. Then go back to filming. And you're not even filming, you're not even recording, you're just transmitting the camera feed, right? So you don't want to use a long distance mirror where you've got to look at a reflection of a reflection. It's just 3 times as far away. Reflection 1, reflection 2, eyeballs. So I'm going to let this dry. I can't remember what I was talking about. I think I was about to give you some closure in something, but I forgot what I was talking about, so you're not going to get it. See you in a sec. Right, I'm going to get rid of this glue now. Not all of it, just a bit of the top. If you look at the clock behind me, you've been watching it since the beginning, you'll notice that a lot of time has passed. Why does it take me so long to just put a bit of glue on my head and stick this fucking hairpiece down? Well, I'm not in a rush. You've seen me do it within 60 minutes. I think I did it in 20 minutes in one video. So I'd say if you haven't got a pre-glued hairpiece, it's going to take you about dandruff. Yeah, I'm going to sort that out. I've got some anti-dandruff shampoo, but wearing black is a good way to figure out if you've got it. The hairpiece does not cause dandruff, by the way. This is dandruff-free here, right? It's back here in the nape of my neck. I think if I leave a puddle of conditioner, I don't rinse it out thoroughly, it can sort of burn the skin over time. I'm seeing one tiny hair left here, and I'm going to pull it off, right? But it reminds me, another good reason to not use lace. You've got to sit there and just pull out all those hairs that are poking through on the bottom so they're not in between your glue and the hairpiece itself. With poly, that's not a thing. So here we go. Make sure, because this is covered in glue, disgusting, old glue, but whatever, you can't just keep it dry, right? So the old glue and the new glue, even though there is a layer of sweat and dead skin cells and stuff in between those two layers, I'm confident that they will merge together. And if it lifts, they will lift together. They are now brothers. Or you might want to say husband and wife, given that they're mating. There's some orgy happening underneath my hairpiece, don't worry. Or is there? Okay, I'm going to put some water in this thing. Well, that's another thing you can't do with lace, isn't it? You can't just put water all over your hairpiece, because it'll weaken the hold between the lace and the glue. Which is why, in some instances, if you pull off a lace hairpiece, some of the glue actually sticks to your head instead of the lace, which is exactly what you want, because it makes it easier to remove the glue from the lace, which you have to do. Accidentally put too much glue down here. Hopefully the brush will slide nicely along the old layer of glue without getting stuck. So the good thing about this glue compared to Walker Tape Ultra Hold is that it's much thinner. So you can see, pulling this away, there's not even a string of mozzarella between the brush and the hair piece. Oh, and by the way, this is another thing you can't do with lace either. I don't know why I feel the need to tell you that lace is nowhere near as good as poly today. But if you're still using lace, it might be something you'll take note of. You can't wear a hat with lace, you can't wear a helmet with lace. The glue shines through lace. After you have a shower, the glue at the front bubbles up. It's a heap more front hairline. Front hairline maintenance. You might say, well, there's a lot more front hairline realism, so that's the reason I choose lace, but it's only realistic for the first 2 days, isn't it? And then it becomes a mess. So if you're doing it for film and television, and you just got the sort of budget where you can just throw it away after each use, lace is good. Lace will give you that perfection for that one use. But if you're going to reuse it, or you want the actor to wear it for the whole duration of the shoot, 6 weeks, what do you got? You might as well give it my poly hairpiece with nose to spine stitching, so that everything runs in a way that's natural coming out of the forehead. Because like I keep saying, if it's horizontal, ear to ear stitching, then there'll be a wall of hair at the front. This hairpiece is in fact ear to ear, horizontal V-loops, horizontal stitching, which is why I can't really wear my hair brushed back with this hairpiece, because this is the arse end of a hairpiece that I've cut out, because I cut each hairpiece into 2 so I can save money. Like right now, today, I don't know how long it was since I ordered it, but over a month ago, probably around 6 weeks, I don't know, I ordered my custom hair pieces, 4 of them. They're going to send me the first one, I'll review it. If I need to send it back, I'll have to send it back if it's no good. But I'll know right away if they've stitched in nose to spine lengthwise, because each one should give me, I think it was 30 centimeters by 15 centimeters, and this is 9.5 centimeters, so I should get 3 hair pieces out of each rectangle. And I'm hoping they've done it correctly and stitched lengthwise up the 40 centimeter direction. So they're all parallel, and it needs to be 15 centimeters because this is 14.5 centimeters or something like that from here to here. So if it's less than that, it'll be too short. you can stretch lace and poly, but it recoils. Be aware of the recoil. Don't think that you stretched it and the glue's holding it firmly right now, because the glue will give. It won't be as strong, and then it will and the hairpiece will recoil. The stretchiness will come back in. Can't trust it. A little bit of stretch, just a tiny bit extra, might be okay. But if you've totally stretched it, you're better off if you want to stretch that a little bit further. Unglue this area all the way through, so you've got a little bit of stretch, little bit of stretch. So just nanometers of stretch all the way through to achieve a full 1 millimeter stretch down here. Don't try to just lift there and pull it and stretch it and glue it down hard and just like hold it and then just walk away. It's not going to stay there. It'll recoil. You want to get that maximum amount of extra bit of length because you've cut the hairpiece too small. You need to lift it all the way from back up here and just stretch it all the way back down. Minimal recoil. These are all just repairs after you've cut it incorrectly or whatever, or you've trimmed too much of the mess off the front or whatever. So this hairpiece is the back end. It's going to be ear to ear. So why didn't I turn around? It might have been nose to spine back on this side if I'd switched. No, it's at the back part of the hairpiece when they do their stitching. They don't give a fuck. They do it all directions. That's why I'm really actually quite excited now that it's fine. I've got an email saying they've finally sent it. I could receive it within a few days, within a week from now. I really hope it's the ultimate solution, because if I have a full amount of stock, if I'm fully stocked up with good hair pieces and I don't have to worry about trying to save money by cutting these things in half and trying to cut out of a dome shape, which is not straightforward. I mean, it is sort of straightforward with polymorph lace, because it's also with lace when you're cutting out partials, because partials aren't really sold on the market yet. Fucking hurry up with that, please, hair companies. I don't know why you don't. Like I say, you've got more fucking balding people than bald people in the world. So there'll be a big market. Also, they're just beginning to lose their hair to that extent. They're freaking out enough to throw their money at you. Think about it. So I'll be relieved when I get the full hair custom pieces. They'll all be rectangles and I'll be able to cut out partials exactly without having to worry about that whole dome bullshit and the bad stitching at the back part of the hairpiece, which I'm now wearing in the front of my head, which is why I've got that Auschwitz tag still showing here. I really hope they didn't put any Auschwitz tag on my custom piece. I should have probably specified I don't want any Auschwitz. If you're going to put a sticker on it, put a sticker I can just peel off. There's no need for me to have to identify what I already own as being mine rather than somebody else's. I understand you've got to process your stuff, but there's no need to fucking iron in a fucking permanent fucking awesome glue, by the way. Tell me where you get that glue from. Do I need to iron my hair pieces into my head? Is that how I achieve that sort of hold? The hold between the fucking sticker on these things and the hairpiece is magic. It is the best glue. It must be the most ultimate glue there is in the world. Is it super glue? What is it? I should ask them. Does it work on skin? Will it kill me of cancer? Because that glue never breaks. I don't know how it would be on skin, but would the skin tear before the glue let go? Obviously, there are no pores in the hairpiece that are oozing out sweat that would potentially loosen that bond. But then again, there's no way that this glue, or Walker Tape Ultra Hold, or Ghost Bond Platinum, or any of the other glues, if you attached anything to anything with those glues, there's always your fingernail and your hand's grip will win, right? You're always going to beat the glue. But with this thing, good luck getting that thing off. My complaint about it is probably stupid. I should be fucking using it. Like, what is this magical glue? Why can't I get my fingernail under there at any point and peel it off? And what is the thickness of that? Is that another 0.03 millimeter poly piece that they've typed onto, that they've printed those numbers and letters onto? If any of you already know the answer to this, please write it in the comments below. What the fuck kind of glue is that? And what is the material, that little rectangle of numbers? What is that material? Is it the same material as this? I should investigate that if I remember it. Please remind me to investigate that, because that is fucking amazing glue. Now, could I squish this down now? Yes, squish being the operative word. I don't want it to squish out along the edges. So I'm going to wait 15 minutes or more. I'm back. How long did that take? It's now 25 o'clock. Mirrors. Feels so wet and grippy around the front area. It's got a dirty feel to it. There's clearly some glue still in this lump that's going on. Curling, it's stuck to itself. There's a bit of a problem going on over here. That lump is no good. You can even see it. See that lump? I think that got it. No, it didn't. It's still a lump. When I used to wear lace hairpieces, I did use them once and throw them away after 3 weeks. I just kept them cutting them out because I used to get 3 hairpieces out of one hairpiece, out of one unit. Because I only cut it back to there, but it was growingly apparent to me that it was thinning earlier, so then I started making bigger hair pieces, and after that I could only get 2. And a lot of you are thinking, well, you've got a big bald spot on the back, you should really only get 1. Not quite ready for that yet. This lump of glue has to be cleaned up. There's glue all along that front section, right along there. It's all just covered in glue on the outside. You can see how those hairs are sticking together. So I actually have to fucking clean that. How does the glue go from being behind the hairpiece to in front of it? I think it has something to do with when you're having a shower. Any little sweat that sort of leaked out. I don't know. It just happens as the glue breaks down. It sort of leaks out the front of it. I think a lot of it also has to do with, you know, when I have it peeled back like that, and I've got to be very accurate with the brush. If that brush touches those hairs, which it does. It does. I'm not good enough. I'm not clear enough with it. But it's still better than having to use the tape marking method or something, because it is actually tape. It is poly after all. I shouldn't have to worry about that. You see the darkness that happens here on the edges where glue sort of collected on the front side of the hairpiece. Look at that chunk in the corner there. Messy. All the way across there. That bit's just too much trouble. So as you can see, I'm detangling it, but I'm still rubbing the glue all over the place. The glue and the C22 together are now mixed in and just throughout my hair, but I've disintegrated it a bit, right? So I'm just going to take a bit of soap. Why? I don't know, I just feel like it might calm the C22 down, its acidity, maybe, I don't know. I'm going to wash my head under the sink. Look at how you can see the numbers coming through those horizontal butt bleached V-loops. It's a bad hairpiece. And more chunks of glue all over here as well, right along the front. Did I clean these ones up? I just dried my hair, I don't want to deal with that chunk. But I feel like I did do a little bit of cleaning here. Well, I can still feel a little bit of stickiness over there. Didn't do it 100%. Fuck it, alright. C22. By the way, if I had peeled the back of the hairpiece, that would have done nothing to have gotten rid of the glue at the front of the hairpiece, you understand? So I still think this shortcut of just placing new glue over old glue is probably fine. I wouldn't do like 15 layers of it and just keep the hair like getting worse and worse and thicker over time. I would still eventually want to clean it off. But the thing is, I would probably throw the hairpiece out before I ever had to clean it. So the entire chore of peeling the glue off the back of a poly hairpiece might be just a complete waste of time. That might be a chore that you can just eliminate, because you probably throw your hairpiece out because it's old before you ever need to really do it. That's my theory, and it seems logical. Look up there, those corners. You know, there's a step I think I'm missing here. Taking one of these, although that doesn't seem to be doing much. I'll put shampoo, not shampoo, just soap with some water. This one. It also begs the question: is it easier to clean the front part of your hairpiece, where glue gathers around the perimeter and the front hairline, while it's attached to your head? Because it's stuck down on something now, so you can get at it, right? And you can put some pressure on it. If it was just sitting on a table, I don't know, slip around a bit, but while it's on your head, you can put more pressure on without it slipping all over the place. Ideally, I would just throw this hairpiece out. You can see the glue there where I've brushed too far into them. It would be nice to get rid of all of that mess, but I don't really know how to do it efficiently. I mean, if it's not dark, it doesn't disturb me too much, but when it starts gathering dust and stuff, you can see it, that's when it's intolerable. I can take some of it away, but most of it's just going to have to stay there because it's not a new hairpiece. And anyway, it's a back end of a hairpiece, so it's not like I tried my hardest to make it a good, realistic looking front hairline. But my theory is the hold will be just as good now, even though I've put from behind. The hold will be just as good from behind on the underside of the hairpiece as if it was brand new glue without that original dirty layer. Because of cohesion, the glue will cohese with the original layer, even though it's got some sweat cells, skin cells. It'll penetrate through both those things and stick more to it, the original glue. Then not stick to it. So there won't be a problem. And if the thickness of the two layers combined, plus the layer of sweat and whatever, are still thin, then it really is not a problem. Okay. I'm going to let this dry now, my hair, and then you'll be able to see if it's as good as new. Well, not new hairpiece, but just as realistic looking as a person who's got a full head of hair's hair. If I don't achieve that, then I've failed. But I probably won't be doing a brushed back look with the arse end of a wig. Alright, so my hair's dry now. It just dried like this. You can see the horizontal V-lips going straight across there. I might be able to improve it slightly. Some of it looks like it's excess exposed base as well. Because of the small amount of glue that was still stuck there, the hairs are sticking to it sideways, so that's not really causing most of the line, but That is a mess. So I guess with cleaning the hairpiece of its glue before you apply the second layer, it's not really for the purpose of creating more adhesion, or in this case not even about flattening the hold, because it feels like it's completely flat, undetectable because it's so fresh, the glue layer. But really what it's about is cleaning up this shit along here, all the way along the front and the back, I suppose. The center probably doesn't really matter when you're cleaning glue off your hairpiece. So like in the case of a lace piece, that might matter because it could turn yellow and you can see in, right? And your scalp has to look nice in the middle. With lace, you can see. The thing is also, poly is quite see-through. Like if I had dark skin, it would still look like my natural scalp. That's how see-through the poly is, because it's really thin, right? It's not like this is coincidentally similar color to my skin. It's because it's see-through. One color fits all, right? Because it's see-through. So I didn't clean it, and even if I had cleaned it, it would be more about cleaning the glue that was on top, which I just, cleaned up a little bit in terms of making it less sticky and stuff. The other thing is it's horizontal V-lips. I really think you can keep wearing a hairpiece for a long period of time. Like, I don't know how old this one is. Maybe, I can't remember. You'd know better than me. I'd have to be guessing to tell you. But after a while, this kind of dirt that gathers around the front, just inside those front hairs and everything, is a good enough reason for me to just chuck it out and just take it into account, the expense, price the hair pieces at a rate that's not going to cause me considerable pain in the ass of cleanup. As in, don't look after them, just live my life. So don't just keep wearing a hairpiece forever. I mean, all hairpieces, when you put glue along the front hairline, will get an eventual kind of build up of glue. And if you're good at cleaning, do it. Save your money. Just clean it. But I'm not good at cleaning. I mean, you saw what I did before. I just put soap on my hair and everything. Just wasn't really a proper professional job, was it? But also, another main reason you've got to swap out your hairpiece is the integrity of the hold of the hair in there. So V-loops will eventually fall out, knots will eventually pull out. This happens just with the constant brushing and moving of hair. So you can see here where I would have touched it the most, I would have lost the most hair there. It seems like I've lost a bunch of hair in there, but it was sort of like that when I started. That bald spot there, that was already part of the hairpiece when it was new. So now I'm going to put some hair product in. I just want a light hair hold. Something that's not going to cause me to itch if I don't wash it out, because I'm not really washing much lately. I just have to go down the street to the post office. I'll use this stuff. Might have to buy some more. Done. If you want bits and pieces to stay down a bit, probably the best way to do that is to wet it again. Give it some weight and then it'll dry in a position closer to where you've sort of forced it. But you don't have to add too much water, I suppose. The hair will change its shape based on how dry it is. At that bit at the back, I guess I can just put some concentrated water there. Seeing if there's a chunk of glue or that hair stuff in there. So that's all I'm going to do. This is a bit unsightly here. What I can do for that is chuck some of this on it. Shine killer. Can you believe this? Somebody recommended to me what you should use is some shine killer, and it's like they were teaching me now. It's like all my videos over the past however many years it's been have circulated to other presenters, and they're now teaching people. By the way, that's amazing, isn't it? Just gone away. And they're now they've come back and they've heard it through the grapevine, solutions that I experimented and came across. I mean, this stuff, I was asking in lots of different stores about different types of makeup and stuff to eliminate shine, so it wouldn't shine through the lace initially, right? That was about the 1000th product I looked at. It's not like something you just stumble across. So to have somebody recommend this to me, I'll take the credit for that one. Yeah, so the shine's totally obliterated. It's amazing. I don't understand what crystal shit is in there. Anyway. So, that's it. Like I say, I just don't think it's necessary at all to clean, if you've got thin glue, the glue off your poly piece. Just put another layer over the top of it. Cleaning up around the rim is something you've got to do, but as it comes around over the top from, I don't know, maybe the sweat goes there and you wipe your brow and you're putting glue back over, or like I say, when you're painting the edge of the hairpiece. So let me tell you this, it would be worse if I painted my forehead and tried to land it exactly instead of painting directly onto the head. I mean, come on, obviously. Like if I tried to use the lace method, which is where you've got to sort of just guess and just glue your scalp, wait for that to dry, then press it down, and then there are bits and pieces, and then you've got to use like a fucking Tampax or some shit to try and get the rest. None of that has to happen with the poly. You paint directly on, you apply the glue directly onto the poly. So I'd never go back to having to deal with that shit. And if you are going to do it, use the tape marking method. So if you get the exact line up and you use a comb or something, or if you just place it down unglued, the front section of your lace hairpiece, and just place the tape all along there, then lift it up, and then just glue inside that area, you're better off, right? Obviously. I've got a video of tape marking. And but with poly, just glue directly onto the poly, and of course it's going to land exactly. By the way, did you know that a moon day is exactly 29.5 days, which is the same amount of time it takes for it to orbit the planet? Think about it. You look at it, a full moon. Imagine somebody standing there on the tidally locked face of the moon that faces Earth, right? They're just standing there meditating, right? It's noon for them. We're seeing a full moon from Earth. How long is it going to take before the sun sets, goes around the entire celestial body, the moon, and comes back round, sun rises, and it's back directly over as a noon, day 2, the second noon. You know what I mean? On Earth that takes 23 point something hours, or 24 hours we say. But on the moon it takes 29.5 days. Because full moon gibbous from the Earth's perspective on the side we're seeing. It's not like the moon's other side is always dark. It's just that we don't get to see the dark side of the moon. But if astronauts went to the moon at a time when it was a new moon for us, when the moon's dark, and they go around the other side of the moon, the other side will be fully lit up. It'll be noon there. right? 29.5 days later, it'll be noon there as well. Anyway, they're direct comparison analogies. I don't remember what my first point was that I was trying to compare it with. But you can rewind it and listen back. Or you might just remember because I only said it like 1 minute ago. Anyway, I know it was good. Well done me.